r/legal advice. My hallucinating mother had our apartment swatted with my brother, fiancé and I in it, California. For some backstory, my mother has been experiencing delusions and hallucinations that we suspect are drug induced for roughly 6 years now. These started small and grew into something so unbearable that my brother and I had to move from her house in California, 8 hours away, to our new apartment also in California. The tipping point was her calling the police for about the 7th time that month when my brother and I went out to get food, telling the police that we were hanging from the palm trees in our backyard dead. These palm trees were 30 feet in front of her eyes, and when they came out they took her to the hospital for a mental evaluation. Non 5,150. They released her. They didn't do any blood or urine tests. They didn't keep her because, in their words, "We don't like to keep people that have even the slightest possibility of seeking out patient help," even though we explained that she refused to do this as she doesn't think what she believes is abnormal. She was released that day. We immediately found a place and moved here in July this year. Since then, we have been living somewhat peacefully, I suppose. My mother has been calling my brother and I most nights at obscene hours asking if we are okay and insisting that we are someone pretending to be us and we are actually in danger. She even did this when we were living at home. But we are afraid to cut ties because we don't know if something even worse will come of this if she has no reassurance. My brother gave my mother our address a couple months ago so that she could drop his car off at our house. I didn't agree with this, but I couldn't stop him. She doesn't live back at home anymore. She had all of the furniture and items put in storage and she drifts from county to county, staying in hotels along the way. She recently totaled her car speeding on the highway trying to evade hitmen. She has been in altercations with a bunch of different county police departments recently. One even called me saying she left a suicide note in a hotel lobby asking me if I think she should be admitted, saying she's currently speaking to police at the hotel. I said yes, as she obviously is leaving a suicide note and isn't well. She wasn't admitted and was let go the same day. The last time we had contact with her was on Thanksgiving. She came to our apartment and was seemingly perfectly fine. She is very polar. One day she is completely fine and seems like a random Jane. The next she's freaking out and at a Mormon church getting an exorcism performed on her. Thanksgiving was a good day. Today, not so much. Today, at around 9:30 am, a police helicopter and 20 officers with shotguns come to our house, pointing a shotgun at my brother sitting at his desk in the living room through the window. He gets up to open the door and let them in. I get a call from an unknown local number while I'm in my bedroom unaware. I answer it and they ask if my name is random name that isn't mine or anyone I knows. I say hang on as I hear someone at my bedroom door. I look up and see a police officer with a shotgun come in and search my room. Then ask if my fiancé and I are okay and leave to go downstairs where my brother is after searching the rest of the upstairs level. I talk to the woman on the phone and tell her no, that is not my name, and give her my real name. She seems confused and asks for my address, which I provided, then basically tells me that they received a call that my brother had been shot and asks if he's okay. I call his name and he's fine, so I tell her he's fine. She asks me what I'm wearing and orders me to step outside of the apartment. I go downstairs and go outside and an officer asks me if my name is the same name the woman said on the phone, and I say no. So he asks me to step back inside. I tell the woman this, and she says okay, just wait. The police come in, ask us to step outside. One asks us what my name is. I tell them. They are really confused about why it's not the name they were given. They ask me if I know. Insert random full male name I've never heard of here. Not the one they think is my name. I say no. They then explain that my mother had called them saying that we had been shot and were dead, dying in our apartment. We tell them that she experiences hallucinations. They calmed down and took their shotguns off and placed them back in their vehicles. We chatted about what is up with my mom. Told them that we suspect substance abuse and that she experiences hallucinations and delusions. And he asks if I have any questions. I say yeah. What's gonna happen with my mom? They say we will contact local police department to old house my mom cleared out and see if they can evaluate her or find her there as it's legally her permanent residence. We told them that she doesn't really stay there or anywhere permanently, and they said something about seeing if they can have that local police department find her at that address and 5,150 her as she is a danger to us and we could have been shot by them and their shotguns. They eventually left after that. They said that the reason they thought my name was something else is because my mom told them that was my name. My question is, what can I do legally from here to make sure my mother doesn't have us swatted again? She makes our lives extremely difficult and I don't know what to do. Can we somehow get them to find her? Like, track her down? Will they? They didn't seem to take that part extremely seriously, but that could just be my interpretation. Can I file a police report that basically says don't listen to her calls about this address or us? I don't want us to get caught up in an accidental shooting because of her recklessness. We want out of her mess. Can we report her for suspected substance abuse? Will they track her down for that? We want to be safe and we would prefer it if she could be rehabilitated as well for whatever she's going through. Whether it's substance abuse or schizophrenia or both, as it puts everyone in a very dangerous situation. To clarify, we did not suffer any physical or property damages from the swatting and we do not wish to seek legal action against the police as they were actually very nice and were just doing their jobs. Thanks for your time. Follow up. Talk to the police officers you talked to when they came to your home. Ask them to put you in touch with whoever is handling following up with your mother about this. That way if you find out where your mom is, you'll know who to tell so they can go pick her up. Also, ask about how you go about pre-reporting the possibility that this kind of false report might happen again, so that maybe next time the officers know going and that a call is likely fake. Swatting is a crime in California. You should file a police report and register your concerns about being swatted again. Unfortunately, the police probably won't ignore all calls about your address because crimes do happen. It may be possible to get a restraining order as further documentation. Beyond that, trying to minimize contact as redirect are all you can do. Is it possible that it's a mental illness instead of a substance abuse? I'm not a doctor or trained professional, but it sounds like it could be schizophrenia. If you could track her and have her admitted into a mental health facility, there would be trained professionals to help ensure she's getting the right medication and receive consoling. I'm not a doctor either, so I couldn't tell you what's possible. We think it's drug-induced psychosis. It could be schizophrenia. How do we have her admitted? We've tried a little bit already. Frankly, it sounds like your mother needs to be institutionalized and evaluated to find out what's going on, because this is huge. I agree, but I don't know how to go about having that done. Not legal advice, but practical advice. Make sure you have all the existing copies of your important documents, SSN, birth certificate IDs, passports, etc. If your bank accounts are linked in any way, even the same bank, go and change banks. Get new phone numbers. Move to a new address. Go zero contact with her. And I mean zero contact. Completely ghost her. Y'all are lucky to be alive. Swatting is no joke. If you're unwilling or unable to move and go to zero contact, you need to pin down a location for her and have her committed. She's a danger to you and herself, regardless of the cause of her psychosis. Involuntary commitment is referred to as 5,150 in CA. Keep a record of all contact and all incidents. Get a police report related to the swatting incident. Swatting is illegal in CA, and be prepared to use that as evidence of her incapacity. Getting someone involuntarily committed is no easy task, for good reason, and it's likely this will drag out for a while. As far as legal advice goes, honestly the main thing you can do is file for a restraining order, but that would bar contact both ways, so you would not be able to contact her either. As far as non-legal advice goes, however, I sympathize. My dad is similar to your mom, except he's physically disabled as well, which is probably a good thing. But besides the point, the best advice I can give you is for you to recommend your mother be institutionalized to get the treatment she needs. If that is not a possibility, all I can recommend is moving to another apartment. The apartment might be sympathetic if you explain the situation and let you break your lease early. Move to a new place and for God's sake don't give her your address. She can't call the police on you if she doesn't know where you live. Secondly, and I know this is all a headache, I might recommend getting a prepaid phone and doing one of two things. Moving your old phone number to the new one for your mother so you can still talk with her again, assuming she can't be hospitalized involuntarily. Or getting the prepaid phone and giving it to your mother, telling her you had to switch phone numbers because insert reason. This way you can block her on your normal phone and stop those 3 AM calls, or at the least silence it. Good luck OP. Again, I sympathize. My dad has something very similar with hallucinations and fantasies. I unfortunately can't even have a conversation with him without hearing one of them. What is even worse is people like our parents are left alone without meaningful interaction with other people, and it only serves to exacerbate those hallucinations. They are in a sort of mental solitary confinement. Colorado. Friend of mine gave me an edible without my knowledge or consent shortly before class. Now I have been kicked out of the program. I live in Colorado and was in a health science program. I will not mention which kind for privacy reasons. I was supposed to graduate in May. A friend of mine had asked, around a year ago, if I wanted to do marijuana with him. I told him I cannot. I am about to start clinicals, and those sites may sometimes drug test you. If you test positive for marijuana, you are kicked out of the program, and you are never allowed to reapply again. This is true even for medical marijuana. This is also the only program for my career within 3 hours. That was the only time he brought it up. Recently, he offered me a brownie as a pick-me-up. I appreciated it. I had no idea it was actually an edible, and that he had added THC to it. He also gave it to me just before I went off to my class. The edible kicked in during the middle of a lecture. This was my first time consuming marijuana. I had no idea what was going on and was terrified. My instructor and classmates got suspicious. I got drug tested. It came back for marijuana, and now I'm kicked out of the program permanently. I can never reapply to this particular one. I'm not sure whether or not I can apply to others in the state. I'll have to move or find a place to stay. I'll have to get a new job, etc. I'm also furious because I was so close to graduation. I had 6 months left. My friend did mention, over text, that he did put THC in the brownies and gave them to me to make me high. He is no longer my friend. Is there anything I can do to get him in legal trouble? I want him to be held accountable. And would it be possible to get back into the program if I can prove that it wasn't an intentional high, but rather, my friend caused it on purpose without my knowledge or consent? Not a lawyer, but your ex-friend needs one. He's just committed felony assault. Save those texts and reach out to the police. Contact the police. Show them the texts. Talk to your department chair/college dean and explain the situation. I hope your ex-friend gets into serious trouble with the law. He deserves it. Bro, you made it to the end. You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content. It's free and that's a great price.